Well, you know, it's your host, BITHEAD1000 here. You know, you tuned into the greatest video game program in the history of civilization. And you also know that the year is 2012. And what do we know about the year 2012? Well, according to the Mayan calendar and the Sumerian calendar, the world comes to an end. December 25th, 2012 at 11:30 in the morning. BITHEAD1000 coming to you in extreme close-up, high definition. Quite a complexion for a guy that's 35 years old, I know. But hey, it's my last year on this planet, right? So what do you do? What do you do with the last year of your life, the last year that you're going to be alive? I tell you what you do, you hit the garage sales real hard. And you find as many video games as you can. Anyway, this is our anniversary, very special anniversary show. And I made a mistake during the last show saying that our anniversary was January 11th. It wasn't. It's January 2nd. And now this show might not go on air by January 2nd, but we're recording it January 2nd. So, you know, I want to say thank you to all the people that subscribe to the show. It's been a pretty wild year. We have over 600 subscribers now. And, you know, that's something I'm very proud of. We've never done sub for sub here, or we've never actually gone out and tried to, you know, advertise and get subscriptions. People that subscribe to this show generally like watching the program and subscribe on their own, and that's the only way I would ever have it. This show is about honesty, it's about integrity, it's about, you know, something that's very hard to find in this world, that the show is real. You know, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I remember I used to watch this show, Hot Rod TV, on, I forgot what it was on, maybe Spike TV or something like that. And it was these two guys, they would work in this immaculate garage, and they would have sponsors who would send them the parts. You'd never get the real story about whether a part works or not. And when they did the job, everything was clean, all the nuts and bolts came out the way they were supposed to. And, you know, if you're into auto mechanics whatsoever, you just know what a world of frustration it can be. You can get under a car and just, you know, scream and curse at the top of your lungs and bust your knuckles open and get filthy dirty doing it. And to me, that was really insulting that they would put a show on TV like that, you know, where it just wasn't real. Anytime, you know what, you try to fake people out. I know, you know, there's a lot of dumb people out there. The majority of people aren't stupid. They're smart and they know real from fake. So, I mean, if I've tried to achieve anything over this past year, it's to bring you a show that's believable and that's real, because what we're doing here is real. And now, you know, I know you guys don't want to sit here and listen to me bullshit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to man the camera now, like you know, Bidhead Ford Coppola, and we're going to do basically a tour of what we've gathered, you know, over the previous year. And, you know, I was going to set it up and I was going to stack it up in nice, neat piles and whatnot. But I decided not to do that because I'm going to show it to you the way it is. And now I've taken the boxes down from some of the shelves and whatnot. But I'm going to show you how I have it. And you know what? It breaks my heart to have it like this, because I'd love to have this stuff on nice display on shelves and whatnot. But, you know, I live in an apartment here. It's just not in the cards. So let me get behind the camera. Take your Dramamine so you don't get seasick, because things are going to get a little shaky here. Sorry about that, guys. This coffee is really necessary right now. All right. All right. You know what? I wasn't exactly sure how to start this, but I guess we'll just start like this. And you know what? I didn't even turn the lights on in here. Alright, let me shut it off. I'll come back with the lights. Okay, so, you know, well, wow, isn't this exciting? You guys are like, this is like backstage tour. This BITHEAD backstage. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, I know. I didn't think so. Okay, so here we go. You got to forgive the lighting in here. This isn't exactly DreamWorks Studios, so here we go. And these boxes here, and let's get right to it because you know, I don't want to keep you all day long here. But in these boxes here, this is where we store all of our video games and you know, and everything that we've accumulated over the course of the last year. And now all these boxes, you know, they stack up inside this little you know, shelving compartment here that I bought from IKEA. And you know, all these boxes fit in there, and it makes things, you know, somewhat manageable and whatnot. But I got to tell you, these boxes, every single last one of them is basically full. I mean, I'm at the point now where I got to figure out what I'm going to do, you know, by the time the next, you know, garage sale season comes through. So let's get started here. I have some of these instruction manuals that I got to get out of the way. And okay, this is like Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 instruction manuals here. And here's our Sega Genesis bin. Let me just pull this a little closer because I'm working on the wire right now. For all of you that don't know what on the wire, that's Hollywood talk. That's big time Hollywood director talk for our cameras plugged into the wall. Okay, let me get these out of here. There's Sega CD games. Sega CD games, which I really want to start reviewing because, I don't know, I just think the Sega CD is neat, and, you know, it's one of the first CD-ROM systems out there that come out. And it's something I remember as a kid when the Sega CD came out. It was like, you have no idea how incredible it was. I mean, I never even played it, but I mean, just watching the demos down at the video rental stores and whatnot, Sega CD was like, oh my god, the revolution is here. But there we go, there's our Sega CD games. And in this bin we basically have all of our Sega Genesis games. And these are all of our box Sega Genesis games. And this bin goes down. Let's see if I can get this here so you can see. Goes down too deep. So basically this is like 2 layers of games right here. And to be honest with you, you know, our Sega Genesis collection, I'm not impressed with it. There might be a lot here and whatnot, but none of the real big ticket titles are here. Probably my favorite game right here, given to us by Stavenborn. My favorite game that we have so far is Star Control for the Sega Genesis, and I don't know if you guys watched the review I did on it, but that's a great game. And in the shoebox here we have our loose titles. Let's see if I can get some of them out here so I can get an idea. So our loose titles are all stacked in there and whatnot. And once again, not no real standouts here. Just I guess basically what you would find at garage sales and thrift stores. You know, nothing really to write home about, to be honest with you. So, you know, I look forward to building up our Sega Genesis collection a little more because, you know, Sega Genesis has some pretty awesome titles. But pound for pound, I might get in trouble here. Pound for pound, I think Genesis probably put out like good game to garbage game ratio. They might have put out. See, this is where I'm gonna have guys like Mike Gartner sending me letter bombs and whatnot. But I don't know. I think Genesis put out a lot of crap. I don't know if there's another system that put out as much crap as the Genesis. So there you go, right? You hate mail now in the comment section below. Go ahead. I can take it. I got a tough skin. All right. Moving along. As I open these boxes, I'm not really sure how they're situated. A lot of these boxes haven't opened in a while, so we're just going to go with the flow here. They could be like, a nest of mice. Oh! No. I guess it wasn't that exciting, huh? Alright, here we go. Nintendo 64 games. I had one boxed Nintendo 64 game, and a couple of these horrible plastic cases. The only reason I kept them is because whatever game is in here has the manual. In here we have our Nintendo 64 games. These are stacked. They're too deep in here, as you can see. And I think we got decent Nintendo 64 titles in here. Nintendo 64 is basically a system that, is that I started playing probably towards the tail end of my video game career. I basically was always a cartridge guy, always followed systems with the cartridge, PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and whatnot. Relatively new to me now, but I've always been a cartridge guy, and I kind of ended on the Nintendo 64, but still I have, it's a relatively unexplored system for me, so I'd really like to start doing some reviews on some of these games and whatnot. So that's Nintendo 64. Okay, and here we have our Atari 2600 games, with the exception of these 4 Magnavox Odyssey games. Here we go. And this box goes down too deep. So basically this is like 2 layers of Atari 2600 games. I think we have about 100 here, if I remember correctly. 96 or 100 games here. Again, the Atari 2600, no reason why we shouldn't be banging out reviews on that, because they're relatively easy to do. They only take a couple of minutes because of the simplicity of the games and whatnot. So that's the Atari 2600. In here we have our PlayStation 2 games. And now, you know what I wound up doing? I wound up, giving away a lot of the PlayStation 2 games. All the games that were scratched and whatnot, I wound up giving away to friends and people I knew, because I really wanted to hone the PlayStation 2 games down to reliable, scratch-free games and just have a nice, solid collection and whatnot. But again, with the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2 has a lot of incredible titles, and I feel that we don't have many of them. We have, your standard, your standard titles that you would find for the PlayStation 2, but, I'd like to find a lot more role-playing games. I'm going to get a lot more selective with PlayStation 2. There was a time where I would just buy up everything, for $1 a piece. Of course, I wouldn't spend a lot for it, but now I think I've gotten to the point where I kind of know some of the games for it now, and I know what to look for. So, and I'd love to get Shadow of the Colossus. I've been watching Sandom Todd's been doing this really spectacular series where he just does one level at a time. One video will be one level of Shadow of the Colossus, and I just get a big kick out of watching that. You should check that out. That's really entertaining. That's some game, and that's a game I'd like to find for the PlayStation 2. Give that a shot. Just looks like a real fun game. And a real different game. I've never seen a game like that before, but you guys are probably rolling your eyes like, what are you talking about, old timer? But it's true. All right. Here we go. Coffee's kicking in. I could feel it. Super Nintendo here. This is our Super Nintendo cleaning kit. Our 2 pathetic boxed Super Nintendo games. Okay, these boxes look like somebody used them for a BMX ramp. But, you know, I'd like to find some more box games. They're hard to come by, Super Nintendo box games. Super Nintendo games in general hard to come by. Our Game Genie. Now we have some PSP games in here. I'll take those out for now so you can see the Super Nintendo stuff. Yeah, those are our Super Nintendo games and whatnot. And, you know, we got some fairly decent titles for the Super Nintendo and whatnot. We managed to find an Earthbound and a Final Fantasy II. And, you know, a couple of the great Capcom beat 'em ups and whatnot in there, so we did all right on Super Nintendo games. But always looking for more Super Nintendo games. They're very, very elusive around here. Very hard to come by. It's always a big thrill to find Super Nintendo games at the garage sales. I don't have to tell you guys that. Okay, let's put PSP. We got a PSP games here. Don't know anything about PSP, but always looked like an awesome handheld system. Okay. And in here. Alright, here we go. PlayStation games. This is a system that, you know what? PlayStation, if you're a collector and you want to do things on the cheap, I mean, PlayStation right now is in its prime. I mean, you can get these games quarter a piece, 50 cents a piece. You could put together some collection of PlayStation games. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think we did really well on PlayStation games. I think we got some really good titles as well. Some Final Fantasy titles, Chrono, not Chrono Trigger, but Chrono, jeez, I forget the name of the game. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm curious, like, will the PlayStation games ever really come swinging around value-wise, or is it that the market is so saturated that PlayStation games will kind of like be stagnant for years to come? I don't know. It's an interesting question. But, you know, PlayStation titles, I'm also, you know, being that we have so many now, I'm going to get a little more selective with them and just try to grab, you know, more high-quality stuff. I mean, you know, it gets to the point where are you going to store all this stuff, right, guys? Okay, now here's oh, hold on, let me get the power cord out of the way. Here's one of my favorite boxes right here. I mean, at the time, I didn't really think I was getting a good deal, and I realize now that I did get a good deal. We paid $60 for this box of 3DO games, and it's basically box 3DO titles, and we got some real nice titles in here. And these are super hard to find, and they go for big bucks, man. We did really well on this deal. Got some Lucy's down there. I mean, this was like, at the time, $60 for this. I thought to myself I was getting ripped off, but I always had a fondness for the 3DO for some reason, so I just went for it, and it turned out to be pretty smart buy. Anyhow, moving along here. Here we go. We got our Atari 5200 games here. And I don't know if any of you watched the show, you know there was an instance where I went to a garage sale and I found a guy that had just bought a boxed Atari 5200. Oh man, I just wanted to just trip him and grab it and run. I actually, you know, I did the worst thing you can do. I went up to him and I asked him how much he paid for it. And he paid like nothing for it. It was like $5 in the box, 5200. Here are our Coleco games. This is one of my favorite groups of games. Right, look at this. Stickers are falling off. What a mess. Our ColecoVision games here. Love these ColecoVision games. Definitely gonna have to do. Oh man, stickers are falling off like crazy. Definitely gonna have to do some more reviews on Coleco games because they're awesome. Okay. Here we go. This is, okay, this is quite a bin here. Alright, here's our second. We have 2 Dreamcast games. One I found at a thrift store. It's like F1 Ferrari or something like that. And this one was given to us by Ryan right now. So, Dreamcast, also another very difficult game system to find for. At least that's been my experience so far at the garage sales. I haven't been able to find any Dreamcast games at all. So that's it. We have this and one other Dreamcast game. Okay, these are our DS games right here. Okay, this is like a miscellaneous bin right here. These are boxed. So we have box Game Gear games. Loose Game Gear games here. Alright, mother. Okay. DS game. Another PSP game. These are our GameCube games right here. Not too many GameCube games we have. Our Sega Master System games. Another game system that's very difficult to find for at the garage sales. Xbox 360 games. PS3 games. And our Intellivision games. Let me go down over here. Maybe down the bottom of this box. Some more Intellivision games here. All these Intellivision games are in the box and complete, which is pretty cool. Okay. Let's move along here. Oh, that's our... Let me see. Get the light off of it. Taxi Driver poster there. If you've never seen Taxi Driver, I recommend it to everybody. Great movie. Okay. Oh, here we got more Atari 2600 games. Okay, and these are in here. These are stacked 2 deep, so this is basically 2 layers. Yeah, so I would say if that other box had about 100 in them, I'd say this box has probably another 100 or more in here. So we probably have over 200 Atari 2600 games. And most of them, you know, varying titles. We don't have a lot of duplicates in that, so. There we go. And over here we have Nintendo games. NES games. Get some at the top so you can see what we got here. Our Nintendo collection has grown, I think, in leaps and bounds, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, you know, the NES is definitely. I mean, next to TurboGrafx 16, it's probably the Nintendo would be my next favorite video game system of all time. And how could it not be? I mean, if you grew up in the 80s, you had a Nintendo, you know. Unless you were raised by wolves, and it's hard to get away from those memories. They're great memories. I think in here we have more. Yeah, we have more Nintendo games here. This box is full of Nintendo games here. There you go. There's another bunch of Nintendo games. Okay. And I had to zoom. Hold on. Okay. In this box, we have another box of Nintendo games. I'd like to know how. I should have counted the Nintendo games. I'd like to know how many we actually have. But we've done really well. I mean, we've got great titles. And we've gotten these games for a good price. I don't think we've spent over over $3 for any particular Nintendo game. Certainly got a lot of them for less than $1. There we go. That's a decent amount of Nintendo games there. Alright, we're going to take the wire off here. And now, we got a bin here. This is full of AV cables. And let me tell you something, guys. I made the biggest mistake of not labeling any of these cables. I just, you know, if I want to play something, I just got to take them out and kind of look at everything and try to figure it out. Big mistake, huge mistake. You know, I've gotten real familiar with what this stuff is now, but a big deterrent for hooking up a system and playing is just that sometimes I don't feel like going through all this stuff and trying to figure out, you know, what adapter is what and whatnot. So, you know, if I could start over, I would have labeled everything in detail. I mean, I got everything basically wrapped up pretty neatly. It's not an enormous tangled spaghetti mess, but it would be nice to have everything labeled. That would be huge. Okay, we got that there. Over here, let me get this out of the way. Okay. Here we got some controllers and whatnot, some zappers. Here. You know, this is a bin just full of controllers and whatnot. We got another bin over here. The bigger bin with, let me get this into the light. This is all controllers and whatnot. Yeah, I try to wrap up these cords as neatly as possible because this can turn into a mess really quick. But basically we got, you know, everything in here. And everything in here that is in here has been tested. I know it works. You know, so Sega Saturn controllers. We got everything in here. So it's nice to have everything, you know, in this bin, relatively neat. That way you can, you know, pack it away and store it and whatnot. And then if you come over here, we have all the game systems. We have PlayStation in the box here. You know, the Atari flashback in the box here. Game Boy. There's actually some Game Boy games in here. 2 Game Boys. Some Game Boy games, you know. All the systems are in here and whatnot. Super Scope 6s. Nintendo 64s. GameCubes. All the Ataris are down at the bottom there. Sega Genesises. Even Game Boy Advance is in here. This trunk is like worth its weight in gold. A Zavix port, a couple of plug and play, like old school Palm type plug and play games, a PS2. You know, to keep all this stuff stored in this chest here really keeps everything out of the way, keeps everything nice and neat. Those are the systems that we don't really use to well, at all, because here at the station over here we have a Dreamcast, a Sega Saturn, a Sega with the Sega CD. We have our Master System here, our Atari Mini in the back, a little Yobo Nintendo, Super Nintendo, a glass of water. We'll take a sip of that. Okay, sorry about that. We got our Mike Gartner's NHL hockey signature ashtray here. I got all the letters that I've ever gotten from you guys. You know, whether you sent me stuff or wrote, I hang that up on the wall because I feel that's pretty special stuff. You know, and it's also an easy way for me to keep track of your addresses and whatnot. You know, just in case I want to send you something. We got our Xbox down here, our GameCube right there, our Coleco Vision right there, and in this box we have our Xbox games. Yeah, this is basically, you know, all of our Xbox games as neatly as we can keep it, and you know, that's it. You know, we got some more under there. We got our Iron Maiden records under there. I don't know if you guys care about that, but that's it. That's basically it. So as you can see, this is well, this is a year's worth of garage selling and thrift storing and whatnot. So that's it, man. You know what? I'll tell you what. Get over here. If I'm going to thank anybody for this year and the progress that we've made, I want to thank you guys, because every time I'm out there and I'm looking for this stuff, what makes me go that extra mile, what makes me want to, you know, to press on and try to find stuff when I haven't found stuff the whole day, is because I want to contribute to the show, and I want the show to be fantastic, and you know, I want to please you guys and give you guys a thrill, because you know, as much as I get a thrill out of this, I'm hoping you guys enjoy it as well. And I think my biggest tribute to you guys is to, you know, to try to haul as much stuff as we can. And I think this year our focus is going to be more on quality and not quantity, and finding, you know, some stuff that we don't have yet. So that's it, guys. It's been a fun year, and I hope you guys join me for another year. And you know, as long as you guys are with me, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna punch it out over here. We're gonna get the job done. So that's it. I'm BITHEAD1000, and I'll see you guys next time. Piece of shit. Come on. Jesus Christ almighty. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, here we go. Here we go, fresh brewed coffee. Fresh brewed coffee, right? Son of a bitch. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Hey, all right, thank Christ.